Retcons, reboots, reimaginings, imaginary tales, alternate Earths, comic book lore, and the concept of a multiverse. You peanut butter the chocolate, and my God, do you have a winning combination. But what happens when the combos get too crazy and you can't keep track of them? Well, you wind up with a damn mess. After years of acquiring smaller comic book companies and integrating their stables of characters into their own, DC Comics found themselves wading through muddy waters of messy continuity. They found themselves with only one option: destroy everything. And in 1985, that's exactly what they did. Hi, this is Derek, and this week we revisit DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths on Yesterdaze.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
69, dudes!
Well, there's your problem right there, Vern.
Hey, Willie.
Goonies never say die!
I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I?
And knowing is half the battle.
Autobots, roll out. Thunder! Thundercat! Oh!
Gordon's alive!
Oh, yeah!
It only takes a spark. It only takes a spark to start.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Yesterdaze. I am, of course, your host, Derek, and I'm joined by Dustin and Jason. Gentlemen, it's show 3.
Yeah. Haven't done one of those in a while.
We haven't done those in a while. I try not to do those much these days unless we're looking at planning a break. How we doing?
Three in a night is tough. And usually when that happens, I do this. But one time you're like, guys, I think I'm going to do 4. And I said, no fucking way. 3, I can kind of limp along. Like I'm limping right now.
Yeah.
Like I got hit in the leg with a softball.
Yeah.
But 4 episodes...
I only
off.
did that to you guys once, and I swore
Did
I'd
we
never
do
it?
it?
Again. We did.
Did we end up doing it? Yeah.
We did end up doing it. It was the only time, and after that,
Here's how bad it was. I'd rather have Henry here.
pissing all over everything.
He didn't piss on my holiday spirit.
No, it is. We're in the midst of December. December is a 5-week month. This is the middle episode of the month. We are gearing up for Christmas. It's next week, in fact. Gentlemen, is there anything special that any of you plan to do, a particular ritual that you do every December in honor of Christmas? I can tell you one thing I'm definitely doing, and we will 100% be driving through East Peoria's fabled Festival of Lights.
Folpy.
Whoa. Felipe, baby.
Festival of Lights, East Peoria, Illinois.
Felipe.
That's right. Boy, what am I
It's
gonna
literally right up the road from you every year.
Yes,
if you
sir.
don't walk up the street and watch it, I don't get it.
You talking up the hill there? And
No, I mean they come out not that far.
a couple. Yes, literally the parade kicks
Starts
everything
like
off.
at the end of your street.
Yeah.
and there's a few blocks down from where I live. Yeah, the parade
Yeah.
starts there.
I just
Between your
assume
street and the cemetery.
with you living on the same block for most of your life
Right.
that I figured it was an automatic given. You go every year.
If you've grown up and you take it for granted,
Yeah.
I've probably been 20 times. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot to
That
see.
is a lot.
Will I go this year? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I
Yeah.
don't hate it.
Has Lindsay seen it before?
I don't know. I think so. We'll probably go check it out.
Okay. It's a good date.
Yeah, there's like a church down there. You could park at the
Some
church.
lawn chairs.
Across
bring
from
some
our old church,
Cocoa in a
Wait, are you
thermos.
talking about the start of the...
The start of the parade, right down here.
Okay.
Yeah, you can park at that
there's a
church.
right over there, yeah.
Walk right over there. Yeah, it's and if the weather's not too bad, just walk right from my house.
Well,
Yeah.
the way this fall's been going.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool either way. Whether it's everything's real dark and you got the lights, or if the snow's covered or the ground's covered in snow and you get the lights off the white. Either way, it's cool.
Yeah.
But you're gonna take the kids or the kid.
Yeah,
to
because
that?
unfortunately, the at the time of recording, the parade, I believe, is this weekend.
I was going to say,
They're going to be in Chicago.
Do you prefer the parade or the drive-through? Because when I was a youth, the parade was pretty much all I remember being the option.
Yeah, I don't think the drive-through thing popped up till like junior high,
Or
high
my
school,
parents
probably.
just preferred the parade. I don't know.
Probably late 90s.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
started because it's here in East Peoria. We have the Festival of Lights. It's been featured on different shows and news programs nationwide.
Yeah,
over the
it's
years.
one of like the oldest light up parades because
Yeah.
like Disney World used to have one.
The Electric Parade, is that?
Yeah, and then like that stopped, and like East Peoria just kind of kept doing it.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it's they do a parade, and then all the floats in the parade, they get carted off to different parts of the city. But most of them end up up by Lincoln School. It's a grade school, and there's also a Fond du Lac golf course. It's a 9-hole golf course, and they kind of line these drives, and they play music and have additional things to kind of bolster it. And they'll charge you like $15 a car to like drive through this. You turn to a certain radio station,
Yep.
and it's kind of it's a fun thing.
You
to
get
do.
a bag of popcorn when you buy your ticket.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a good time. It's a
fun
nice
little
Christmas
time.
tradition.
It is.
And when I was young too, I don't know if they do half of this stuff anymore. They have down the street from me. They have the Felipe Building,
Yes.
which is where they house a lot of this stuff. But they also have different festival ongoings, which I've never really partaken in that because I was kind of too old. But when I was younger, they had the administration building. You go and you could walk through, and they had like competitions for like table setting.
Table setting.
How crazy was that? How
gingerbread houses.
I personally, I did love the gingerbread houses.
I did love those.
I thought those were cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, there'd be like little sets of like who could like do the like set the table the best. It was really weird.
Yeah,
Like,
it was an odd little thing, but it was very cool.
and then you drive
They
down
had
by
Felipe's Forest, the old Felipe's Forest, which was down by Central Junior High.
it was at
Oh,
Central
yeah,
Junior
yeah.
High School.
Yeah.
It was
I
on,
remember that.
It was on the old track. And that is where I went to junior high
Yes,
school.
sir.
And yeah, they had all these trees out there, and you would walk through it.
All lit up.
Just past that, there's some baseball fields, and they had like this little manger.
They still have the drive-through nativity.
Yeah,
They have the
drive-through
light up
activity.
baby Jesus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He glows like the sun.
And he's got a little Batmobile that he rides around in.
Mimi.
It is interesting. Like, how do you get that job? You probably just got to go down there and ask.
What?
But like to like drive one of the floats.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say for the welding to make a lot of these, it's done by ICC students.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, there was a guy that went to my old church, and he taught the class that worked on these. And as a youth group project, we got to go out there and make some decorations for the church one year. And I could see different things from the parade that were in progress. And it was just like, oh,
So cool.
You do this? And he's like, yeah, like the students work on it.
That's
and I'm
rad.
like, that's awesome.
That's very rad.
So yeah, it's a community project in a way, and it's a lot of young welders from this area may have actually learned how to hone their craft,
Free labor. Yeah.
on the like landmark parade of the area.
Yep.
I do love that we have it. It is, so much these days. Holidays are commercialized, or you get burned out on them. Christmas is one. I absolutely adore Christmas. I love Christmas, and in spite of the many changes in the East Peoria area of buildings coming and going and what have you, I do feel there's an ample amount of things to give you a lot of holiday cheer and get you in the mood for Christmas, specifically in this area and the town's outline.
The Riverfront Museum now has their own like Christmas event. The tree lighting is a big one, but then they've had their own little outdoor Christmas market for one weekend.
Pekin does something like that too.
They had a
at
fucking
Christmas on
camel
Court.
there last year, I think. For like
Well, was it
photo
camel or dromedary?
Bacterian? I don't know.
Okay.
There's
Sally the camel has one hump, right?
We're in the heartland, the Bible Belt, if you will. There's
Yeah.
a lot of churches around here.
The Midwest, baby.
There's I think maybe a couple like mega churches in the area. The one that
have a couple
stands
hiding.
supreme is Northwoods Church.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get it confused with Northwoods Mall. Why would
the
they name
same.
them similar? I do not know the answer. to
yeah.
that. If you ever go to a mega church, and this is
I've visited.
it's pretty disgusting to me, honestly. But it's like we have a full on Starbucks, we have a full on bookshop. It is just like this capitalistic epicenter for Christians. I don't like that. Those two things I feel like are in stark contrast to each other. But
you
mega
gotta
churches,
go to a poor church.
they seamlessly blend those things together. I say all that to say that Northwoods Church every year has a big program, and it's not just one night. It's like a week and a half where they do these nightly shows. The tickets are free. You will pass through a security gate to be metal checked. There will be police officers there to make sure you don't have weapons on you. But once you get in there, there are people like suspended from the ceilings. There are people doing flips, playing drums. There are several camels that they lead in. It's quite a show.
They got mega church money.
If you're looking for like a Christmas kind of epic,
Yeah.
bunch of great singers, rotating stages, it's quite a show. Whether or not you believe in that sort of thing, but if you want to get in the Christmas spirit, these guys got you covered.
Yeah.
Secure your ticket because they sell out, and like I said, it's not. They are free. You just have to sign up to get the tickets.
Yeah, but they go fast.
Mm-hmm.
And, sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. Speaking of sun,
Dogs'
shining
asses?
on dogs' asses every once in a while. My God, something's coming back around to Peoria. It's a ways out, fan favorite of everybody at this table, but apparently one Weird Al Yankovic will be coming back to Peoria.
Yeah.
Just announced today.
So they've been teasing this concert tour announcement all weekend. We're recording this in mid-November, and
Peak season, we're trying to get ahead of it.
They announced Weird Al's 2026 tour.
Yeah.
Like he just did this huge run all year long. Guess what? From like May until into October of next year, he's going to be back on the road. He's taking Puddles' Pity Party with him.
Oh, is he really?
Yes, because Puddles was announcing it on his page too. And they had this huge list of dates, and it includes playing in Chicago, which is great. And I'm like, nope, this is a really long tour. I think he's going to get closer than that. And I continue
Closer than
scrolling.
Chicago is what you thought.
Yes. And then at the very end, I see Milwaukee. And I'm like, okay, that might be the backup date.
But not closer.
He's ending in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's not closer.
But then I looked 3 dates above Milwaukee, Peoria, Illinois. And I'm like, hell yeah, he's coming back to the theater.
Last time he was here was Bad
It's
Hair
going to
Day.
be great.
The theater holds, is it, I would say 1,500 to 2,000. Dustin, of
Dustin
course,
would say
would probably
about 5,000.
2,500 or 25,000 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the theater is a great size.
Yeah, and that's where he always plays. I have seen Weird Al 7 times, and half of those have been in the Peoria Civic Center Theater, now the Prairie Home Alliance Theater. And I go to the Civic Center's website just to be like, do they have this up there? I want to get the on sale info. And it says Weird Al Yankovic Arena. And I'm like, holy shit. Oh, yeah. He's finally doing an arena show in Peoria.
Yeah, it just took him to his mid to late 60s to finally make that jump to arena.
Why not?
We'll see what kind of crowd turns out. It should be fun. I'm used to seeing him in theaters. We got to see him at a festival.
We had a good spot.
Oh,
too.
it was great. That's what I mean. Like, I'm gonna shoot for getting the box, the company box, not getting used. I think I can put my stamp on that one and be like, come on.
You don't think Brian's going to be going to that?
I don't think so. So I can hopefully chill out in the box.
I want you to park that Big Mac truck right in this little garage. Yeah, you're messing with some. Bring a bucket and a mop for this. Give me everything you've got for this. I'm talking whap, whap, whap. That's some. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. I'm so super grateful for my ex. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. Super duper grateful for my ex. I stay out too late. Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. Cause the player's gonna play. And the hater's gonna hate. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. I shake it off. Shake it off. Heartbreaker's gonna break. And the faker's gonna fake. Baby, I'm just gonna shake. I shake it off. Shake it off. That's right, I'm gonna shake it. Gonna shake it off. Watch me shake it off. Shake it off. Hey!
I don't need to be super close, and it'd be my 8th show, and I've seen that set for the most part.
He has made
I'm
a
sure
lot.
It'll be longer.
Not a lot of new music in the past
Yeah.
few years. I just saw him. Did you guys see this? I should have sent it to you if I didn't. He was just on stage somewhere with Will Forte.
What?
Did you see this?
Mm-hmm. I did
and
not.
the two of them are singing, I believe, a parody of, or just a polka version of a Chapel Roan song.
No shit.
This is a real thing that
Yeah,
just...
I didn't know the context either.
Okay, this just happened recently. So, like, I think he's fooling around with modern music still, and he had that one melody or that pastiche or whatever. Remember, that came out like a year ago or something. But besides that, not a lot of new music. So, if you've seen him within the past 10 years, you probably have a pretty good idea of what you're going to get.
Right.
Yeah.
Hamilton is celebrating an anniversary year, so him doing the Hamilton polka.
Oh, that would be.
I could see him
that would be
dusting that
something.
off again.
Hell yeah.
But who
This
knows?
would be my 4th time, and I would like to go see him. And even if we don't get the box, I probably would go check it out anyway, just because
Yeah.
it's right here.
This would be my first.
I've been so close to where I don't need to get up front, but if it became available and was a possibility, sure, I would do it. I'm fine sitting back in the box or
Totally.
somewhere in the upper bowl. But I saw him first time at the county fair, at the state fair, where he did like a typical full set. He was the headliner, of course. Saw him a few years ago in Springfield again, but he was doing the hey, this is my only, these are my originals tour.
Loved
What was
it.
it? All filler, no thriller.
It was
Something
Is that
like
what he
that.
called it?
The self-indulgent
Yeah,
vanity,
self-indulgent.
Yeah.
the career suicide. Yeah, it was a very long, drawn-out name. I saw that show twice.
Champaign and then Springfield.
Yeah.
Right? And then I saw him with Dustin just a couple
Different
months
sets,
ago
too, so.
in
Riot
in
Fest.
Chicago at Riot Fest, and it was fantastic. And I would definitely go see him again. He's great. It's so cool that he's coming right back to Peoria.
Absolutely.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong about this, Dustin. The last time he was in Peoria was not a good time for him.
No, I know what you're thinking, but he has been back since.
He's been back
He came back
since.
one time since then, and he brought the orchestra with him. This would have been 3 years ago,
3
maybe.
years. Oh, really?
And
So-
it was the first time he'd been back to Peoria since his parents passed in a carbon monoxide incident.
That tragedy was the Bad Hair Day tour.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was back in 96 ish.
Yeah.
Actually,
I feel
no, he
I
played
was saying-
Peoria one more time after
I was
that.
saying I feel like it was later than that. Was
Yeah,
Oh,
so it
was
would have
it?
been
Okay,
like
okay.
0102.
I imagine his parents lived in California because he's straight out of Linwood, right? Is that
Yeah.
his?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I imagine they lived there, but yeah, and they were probably in their 70s or 80s. But unfortunately, while he was in Peoria, his parents at their home died
Passed
of
away.
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
And so if Weird Al was like, you know, one place I never want to go back to, and
This is
he
a
said
place
Peoria,
I found out my parents.
I
lived.
would understand that.
Yeah,
But he's
so
been
he'd go
back-
to Springfield or he'd go
Yes.
to Bloomington,
Right.
and it's like, I'll drive, Al. I
Totally.
get it. I get it.
Totally.
100%.
But he's been back since then, and coming back apparently again in October. So we've done a Weird Al episode.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy that comes up with some frequency. Thought we'd drop it right here, but I think the plan is for all of us to go.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
Not Henry though, because he pissed on your toilet
Yeah.
seat.
Who
You know
knows
what?
who knows what he's going to do in a box?
If we're in a box, there are chairs in the box. The only way I would allow Henry to go is if I peed in a seat and he had to sit in it.
I'll allow it. It's
Perfect.
the only way he's going to learn.
Slam dunk.
Who's ready to dive in? Not into piss, but into a comic book.
An event.
An
A
event,
crisis,
damn it.
if you will.
I'm having a crisis if we don't move forward.
Crisis alert.
Crisis alert indeed. Crisis on Infinite Earths is a limited issue crossover event from DC Comics that ran for 12 issues, lasting a full year with tie-ins to other titles at the time between January and December of 1985. With no definitive release date in January easily available, we use today's date of the 15th for your music and movie trivia. That said, your number one song and number one movie on January 15th, 1985, well, that's going to be, I think we've had this pairing before, Like a Virgin by Madonna
Yep.
and Beverly Hills Cop.
Man, that's good.
You guys, I don't
Coming out of like a kick-ass end of 1984. Like that was one that bled over into a whole new year.
I got to be honest. Madonna was posting some thirst traps on Instagram last night, and she's like almost 70. And I looked at the photo, and I'm like, she doesn't look that much older than me. So I know there's a lot of work being done, but she's still looking pretty damn good.
In the past,
Older women are hot,
you
man.
and myself and your ex-wife were in a text chain about Madonna.
Yeah, I would have sent these pictures.
That'd be funny. The three of us today.
If I didn't think it would be in poor taste, but I think she would probably laugh if I did that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. But at that time that we were really doing that, Madonna was looking at her most weird.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a guy, I can't imagine a time unless I go through some horrific accident of me getting plastic surgery. But you see some of these beautiful women and what they do to themselves, and immediately it looks crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think over time things start to settle, and
I think there's
I may get some shit for this, but Madonna, I think, has gotten to that point where she kind of looks good.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, after fresh surgeries, things are looking weird, man. What do you got for us? Okay, now there's a whole heck of a lot of shellacking going on with the makeup there.
That's what I'm saying.
But she still looks good.
Yeah.
And she is, I'm going to guess 67.
Yeah, she's upper 60s, man.
But she looks good there. But if a lady just gets plastic surgery, I bet for the next 12 months, there's going to be some weird swelling.
Like when Jerry Orbach, when he was still alive and on Law and
Comes
Order,
up a lot.
he
does come up a lot.
He does come up shocking you out on this show. He had like an eye lift or something, and it initially it never looked great because Jerry Orbach, in my entire lifetime up until he did this, had saggy old man eyes, and that was fine. It was part of his face, and it looked normal. He did that eye lift, and like initially, it was like, oh, what the hell? It eventually settled, but it still was unsettling.
I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel looks Asian to me now, and he
did Jimmy Kimmel have some work done?
I feel like he's had something done to his face because he doesn't
agree with
look.
you, man.
He doesn't look
Something
like he
looks
used
different.
to.
Interesting.
Something looks different.
It's been that way for a while.
We used to be a big fat guy.
Yeah.
But that's been like 10 years.
No, I
been
feel
a while since he had
something's
some
shifted
weight on
more
him, yeah.
recently.
I never realized about him.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
I checked out a couple of his monologues recently with all the stuff going on and with his band leader passing recently.
Yeah.
And yeah, just something about it's not just the weight loss. There's something
You
else.
think some more to it?
Yeah.
And he himself is a guy who's probably 57, 58 at this point. And you're right. You know, you look at him and it's kind of like, looks fucking really good. Maybe something is going on there. Who knows?
Speaking of something really good, let's get right the hell into this crisis. You all should know this. If you don't, and you have even a passing interest in comics, DC history, and or an interest in the multiverse as a storytelling device, go fucking read Crisis. That said, if you have read it, which I strongly suspect, you do not need me to regurgitate an epic retelling of what the fuck happens, because in my opinion, the real story is how this came to be and what the after effect, even to this day, has been. I will, however, give the very basic principles, can't talk tonight, of what happens in this story. So imagine this. I just wanted to start something that way.
So imagine, you He-Man with the Prince Valiant haircut, but you like to change out of your street clothes into your stripper gear for some action. So you chilling with the homies and the ops come, so you transform into Magic Mike He-Man with the furry drawers on.
The story centers around a new character that had begun to be teased in other titles called the Monitor. What's the Monitor, up to? Well, he's monitoring the multiverse, which came to be when an ancient Owen named Krona. The Owens are the guys who created the Green Lantern Corps.
Owen!
Owen decided to fly in the face of reason and against the wishes of the ruling council tried to peer back to the beginning of time, which resulted in the birth of the multiverse. Everything was fine at first. Two Flashes kicking it, the Justice League and Justice Society crossing dimensional rifts to say hey and beat one another's villains, Nazis in WW2 still being waged elsewhere, your typical multiversal shit. All these variant worlds are monitored by the Monitor, who was created at the birth of the multiverse, and he spends his days cataloging all these infinite Earths.
Is he like the Watcher?
That's exactly what I was
Big head dude, right?
Very
That's exactly what I
Watcher
was gonna say.
adjacent.
Okay.
However, at the same time, where there is light, there is dark, and where there is matter, there is antimatter. And with that, just as there is a Monitor, there came the Anti-Monitor.
Where did he come from?
Where did you go? Where did you come from?
Anti-Monitor. They were birthed at the same time. Due to this experiment,
vagina.
because
What'd you say?
They said birthed at the same time? Like they came out together?
One canal?
One's creation
Good Lord.
begat the other's creation. One of
Two
them-
sides of the same coin?
Exactly. Yin and yang. Who, while a potential existential threat, lay dormant in the antimatter universe until some hubris-fueled bitch felt the need to conduct a stupid-ass experiment
Clutching my pearls.
with
Whoa.
antimatter, enter Kelmosa, or as he would become widely known, Pariah. His actions awaken the Anti-Monitor, who goes on to destroy Pariah's entire universe. Pariah is then forced to watch as Earth after Earth is destroyed by the Anti-Monitor, who seeks to reshape reality and rule that which is left. We see this as he destroys Earth 3, which is home to the evil analog of the JLA, the crime syndicate, but not before that world's lone hero, Lex Luthor, and his wife Lois Lane pull a Jor-El and send their son Lex Jr. into the multiverse to hopefully survive and find a new world.
Played by John Cryer.
Oh, he's good, isn't he?
He's very good. Survive is exactly what he does while somehow merging with antimatter, and after rapidly aging up, has the ability to manipulate matter and antimatter, which is a good thing because the Monitor has started rounding up heroes and villains in an attempt to save some reality. But hiccups occur when his assistant, Harbinger, is corrupted and possessed by one of the Anti-Monitor's shadow demons. Worlds continue to die. Reality seems to be tearing apart. At one point, God's Hand of Vengeance, the Spectre, is doing everything he can to hold the last remaining realities together. Things reach a fever pitch as heroes and villains form different teams with different goals, but find themselves with no other choice but to work together. The heroes traveling in time to stop the Anti-Monitor's attempts to destroy everything at the beginning of time. The villains trying to prevent Krona's experiment to begin with. This culminates in a magically endowed Spectre creating an energy overload. Turtle.
Medea's back.
Turlicur. Overlord. Shattering space and time, merging the 5 remaining Earths into one reality. Only those present at the cataclysmic events remember anything related to a crisis or the original realities. But we are not quite done just yet. The Anti-Monitor attacks yet again, transporting this new Earth into his antimatter universe where shadow demons attack en masse. Having already suffered the major deaths of Supergirl and Barry Allen, a.k.a. The Flash. The
Silver Age.
Silver Age Flash, you're right, sir. The heroes watch and fight as many of their friends and comrades are killed by the shadow demons. Things become so bleak that even seemingly eternal bad guy and pain in the ass Darkseid joins Alexander Luthor Jr., Superboy Prime, and the Golden Age Earth 2 Superman in making the final blows against the Anti-Monitor. Finally reduced to nothing more than a giant flaming head, the Anti-Monitor's head crashes into a star and is killed by Kal-El Earth 2 Superman. And just before the massive explosion, Luthor Jr. transports Kal-El and his wife Lois Lane of Earth 2, as well as Superboy Prime, to a pocket paradise dimension of Luthor's creation, while the Wonder Woman of Earth 2 is invited by Zeus to ascend to Mount Olympus. Meanwhile, this new Earth...
I've said that to a couple ladies.
Haven't you, though?
You want to ascend to Mount Olympus?
Zeus got around.
He
turned into a goat.
He turned into a goddamn swan and banged a lady. All right. The man was a deviant. This new Earth with a consolidated history moves forward. None of the heroes or villains remembering anything of these infinite histories or realities post-crisis, save for one villain, the devious psychopirate, whose ravings regarding a crisis involving infinite Earths has landed him squarely in the psych ward of Arkham Asylum.
I feel Psycho Pirate is a band I should have seen at this point.
That would be a great
Sounds
band name.
like a local 80s metal band.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. For trying to quickly... How'd I do?
What patron picked this?
Nobody. I picked it.
He did this.
I did this.
It's a lot. I got a question.
How'd I do?
He said
How'd I
something.
do?
You did great.
Thank you.
Is there something in there about
I need praise.
God's hand?
God's Hand of Vengeance.
That's a character?
No, that's
Spectre?
a descriptor of the Spectre.
A descriptor of
He is the
Spectre.
spirit of vengeance. He's God's hand of vengeance.
It's got like a cloak.
Big green
Green.
cloak.
Hell yeah.
Chalky white ghost.
I used to have a hologram card of the Spectre, and I was like, it's kind of cool, but like it kind of doesn't work for this character.
I disagree.
In the Marvel universe, God is a character. Or is that right?
God is
Are you
a
sure?
DJ.
I don't think so.
God is a
There's
DJ?
attorney. There's
Is that
eternity.
a Cardigan song?
I think it's pink.
Oh, Pink. Okay.
There's eternity. There is the kind of the Marvel equivalent of the Spectre, the Living Tribunal.
So there's no God.
God exists, but God doesn't show up as an actual character, I don't think.
Okay. I thought. Well, I mean,
Zeus.
that's kind of where I am with that character. It's like he's not featured in anything.
Yeah, he's never shown.
Okay.
Same in DC. I think the only comic I can think of right off the top of my head that he shows up is Preacher and Savage Dragon. Those are the only two I can think of.
Okay. With all this crazy shit going on, I didn't know if DC had a God character. And what the fuck's that guy doing? Twiddling his thumbs while this mayhem's happening?
Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
I don't know. I always just find it because like I thought like the devil was a character too in like Marvel. I know there's Mephisto.
Devil-like character. Mephisto's not the devil.
I know he's not
He's
it, but I thought
a
there
ruler of a hell dimension called I don't know. It's
something with Borat.
something like that.
Isn't that who's playing him?
Actually, yeah.
Borat's-
Sacha Baron
yeah, he's playing him.
Cohen apparently. I have not watched it, nor do I have a big desire to. It sounds largely bad, but apparently he shows up and will feature in the MCU more. Sacha Baron Cohen got all ripped to be Mephisto.
What did he show up in? What was it?
Ironheart.
I never saw it.
Don't.
Brother Beetle.
When's the next Marvel movie coming out?
I don't care.
There's a Marvel. I know Avengers is coming out at the end of next year, at the end of 26, the first of the next two Avengers films.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I don't feel like I'm hearing about anything.
No.
I don't know what else is coming.
You got to go away.
They gotta slow down, man. Because
Well, they really have.
They have, and which
Disney
is good
hit the
because
brakes,
the
finally.
quality has been waning. Like I think I liked Fantastic Four. I thought they did a good job with it.
I think it was the best one they've made.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah. I'm due. I am looking forward to a rewatch of that, which I can't say I've rewatched a Marvel movie in a very long time. The final Avengers movie.
I got to bug up my ass a while ago and watched Iron Man because I hadn't seen it in a while.
Okay.
And genuinely wanted to see it.
I don't know what else is on the like the slate for Marvel films coming out. It was the hottest shit 10 years ago.
Avengers Doomsday is the only thing I can think of.
And that's a year. That's like a year away still. Isn't that wild?
I think it's a ways.
Are they have TV shows that still come out, or they put the brakes on all that?
I think they put the brakes on that too.
The most recent one that I feel is like
Ironheart, I think, is the most recent.
Well, Daredevil, right? They did.
Okay, yeah, Daredevil Born Again came out, and season 2 is in production. I really like that. They did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
That was more
a lot of
grounded,
hardcore
man.
fans for that's what you need. You need a lot more grounded shit.
And it's just the problem is that we're just keep shoving it down your throat, and it's the same thing with Star Wars, man. It's like the quality is waning. Like
it's just a big rush to get your money back.
Yeah.
Disney paid literally billions of dollars for these properties, and they want and
Have
they've
some
got
more.
they've got it back. They just want more. It's the greed money machine, baby.
open your mouth. Here's some more, motherfucker, and then just shove. Give me my screwdriver and my plumber's elbow, and I'll shove it in. It's like the old man.
Christmas Story.
Let's that is your very, 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 very basic plot synopsis.
Yeah, I watched a plot summarization of the whole event.
And you were very worried.
It took like 40 minutes, and my head hurt afterwards.
The
guy did okay.
I got
think he did
6
okay.
minutes in, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of all this shit."
Yeah.
I read about it on Wikipedia, but I couldn't watch a video because it was. I'm
wanted
sure
to
the guy
see
did
the
a great
art.
job.
He did a
But
fine
it's
job.
like I would not be able to retain any of this. You know, I need to like read it or get like an even more truncated version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I did like seeing the art. But yeah, it was a lot to process. As somebody who'd never read,
I was gonna say we're too
the
young
series,
when that was
yeah.
coming out, but you've never read it since. I
you
have.
never read it?
I've never gone back and
Oh,
read
no
it.
shit.
Nope. There's not a lot of classic comics from before I started reading them that I've gone back to revisit.
No shit.
Just the way they're written and
you're a Marvel guy too.
Yeah,
you said, right?
like I've done some old collections, but I mostly stick with what I jumped into and beyond.
Okay.
Because the writing style just differed too much to what I was used to and what I liked, and they just felt antiquated, and I didn't, care enough to seek those out when there was just constant stuff coming out.
I will say, as someone who did not I knew of it, but there came a point in I think high school or college where I'm like, you know what? No, there was a good opportunity to get it. They were re-releasing it, and it had an amazing cover. It was a trade. I still have it, and it was George Perez and Alex Ross doing the cover. Amazing, beautiful fucking cover. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And so I hit up Terry, who ran the cover. I'm like, I need this. And I read it for the first time. Antiquated is a good way to put it, because at that point in time, we're in our teens. There's some stuff maybe we're going back and revisiting, but most of the stuff we're reading at that time, the writing is completely different than it was in.
And I read a lot of
80s.
independent comics and stuff the older I got, and it was just like, I don't follow much superhero shit now. Like, I'm not going to go back and read this crazy mega event that I'm going to have to buy.
Hero, dude. Yeah,
no.
You were reading stuff like Powers and Chosen.
Yeah. But I came up on the X-Men and, Generation X and,
for sure,
enjoyed those kind of things in Spider-Man, Batman. But the big crossover events, I remember some of those in the mid-90s, and I bought in and I got all those issues. And then I was just kind of like, that story wasn't that great. And then I never did that again. Yeah. They burned me with the Phalanx event or something in the mid 90s, and I spent all my allowance money, and it wasn't great.
Or something. Yeah.
Well, this Crisis event is a year long, 12 main issues. But like a lot of other big events that happen in comic universes, there are a lot of little tie-ins and spin-offs of things. Yeah. Now, you had the book that was all 12 issues, the meat of the feast.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of that other stuff? And who were some of those spin-offs, do you know?
There were 15 additional issues that tied into various books.
Over the course of that 1 year.
Over the course of that 1 year. So almost anything that was a popular title at the time or a book that was struggling at the time had a tie-in. So Teen Titans had a tie-in, Batman had a tie-in, but then your books that aren't as marquee, like Amethyst of Gem World, had a tie-in. And as I do have this in here, there's stuff that legacy-wise had tie-ins to it that are counted as tie-in books
later.
Yeah. So they a popular series that came out in or annuals or whatever that came out in the late 90s, Legends of the DC Universe, there's a tie-in to it. There was in the early 2000s, there was a 12-issue run limited series. It was called JLA Incarnations. 1 through 12, that's it, one and done. And what it was designed was to go through the different iterations, a singular story set with a particular group of the JLA at a particular time, just kind of showcasing all the different versions of the JLA there had been. And there is a Crisis on Infinite Earths tie-in, and it is considered part of the lore or canon of that story. So in total, I think there's 15 to 17 books, or maybe it was 13 at the time, and now 15 total with those pieces of legacy. But it was a big fucking deal at the time this came. Nothing like this had been done. The closest thing like this that had come out was Marvel's Secret Wars in 1984, and that was created as a response to Mattel and Marvel teaming up to want to do a toy line. So Jim Starlin came up with a storyline.
We covered it.
And go back to I think that was season 1 or beginning of season 2. But that was it was a contained story, but it didn't alter reality. There was no huge stakes involved. It was a limited run series. The biggest change with it was for a period, Ben stayed on Battle World. She-Hulk became a member of the Fantastic Four in response to that. And I would say the longest lasting effect of that would be Spider-Man got the black costume. That ended
It
up
brought the
becoming
symbiote to Earth.
Yeah, but it didn't like change reality the way this did. This was a big, high stakes fucking
and this was
deal.
the seeds of this were planted years in advance so they could build up these new characters that would play pivotal roles.
Exactly.
And then ultimately unify things because the universe was fairly scattered. And they said,
Yes.
why are we in a distant second to Marvel? And it's because they thought, well, Marvel's got this unified front.
Bingo.
And if we can maybe mimic that.
Yeah. So to that point, I mean, you got to think DC started its life as National Allied Publications in 1935. Over the years, I mean, there were, aside from Marvel, there were other comic book companies that popped up. You had Charleston Comics, and they had characters like Peacemaker, Blue Beetle, Captain Atom. You had Fawcett Comics, that was the home of Captain Marvel, aka Shazam. Which was a big competitor with Superman at the time. And DC got in this habit of like either playing a waiting game for a company to kind of fizzle out the way Charleston did, or would litigate the shit out of you until they just bought you.
You just say your characters are too similar to ours. That kind of thing.
And that's what they did with Shazam and Captain Marvel. Like, this is way too much like Superman. No. And just constant litigation until Fawcett was like, we're broke. And
It's
then
like
they
Vince
bought 'em up.
McMahon buying up all the wrestling territories.
Oh, yeah.
You're
creating
not
a
far-
monopoly of
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So you get out of the golden age of comic books. It started in the late 30s, and you're going into the 50s. It's post-war America. DC wants to update shit for the Jet Age and kind of the Atomic Age. And so a lot of your characters like the Flash, Green Lantern, the Atom, all of them get these sleek sci-fi updates. So instead of being like a guy in a mercury helmet who was exposed to hard water vapors, whatever the fuck that is.
I have hard water. I need to get.
You need a water
You should get a helmet.
Get a
Oh,
helmet.
I have to shower with a helmet on?
Yep.
I don't think it would hurt.
I don't know, man. Like that says.
I think Jason's on to something.
Okay.
You don't want those hard water vapors.
You don't want them.
I got the vapors.
I got the vapors on mine. So, and it, and like the Green Lantern of the Golden Age, it was more magic based, is what it seemed like. So going into the 50s, Flash is the first one who gets an update, and the debut of Flash is widely considered the birth of the Silver Age. Showcase number 4 in October of 1955. So he had a sleek kind of Jet Age costume. His powers are all science based. He's a police forensics officer. He's struck by lightning, hit by chemicals, and this started a reboot of a lot of characters. So you end up having later in Showcase, I think in Showcase 17, you have Hal Jordan, the new Green Lantern. He's part of a police force from space. Hawkman and Hawkgirl are now police officers from outer space.
And Hawk 2 is part of that as well?
Yes. She was more of an auxiliary officer.
They rebooted her.
Rebooted her, all right.
Well, they did a few things.
You got to reboot that thing.
They had the Rube Goldberger. The Atom was no longer like just this physically fit short guy. He was like a scientist who could shrink in size. So it was all very science-based, but your three mainstays, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, their storytelling just kind of kept going. So it was almost as though like their continuities never changed. There's your first point of confusion.
Well, I was confused long ago.
This is all pre-crisis stuff.
This is all
And
pre-crisis.
building up to like all the mayhem.
Yes. Where the mayhem starts is with the infamous Flash of Two Worlds story seen in the Flash 123 from September of 1961. It sees Barry Allen's Flash meeting Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash. He vibrates into another universe, and they give a whole explanation as to why. And we find out all these Golden Age characters, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and even an Earth 2 Batman and an Earth 2 Superman, they're all still alive. They're on this other Earth, and they exist as comic book characters in the Silver Age, Prime, DC. It's already getting fucking confusing. Just explaining it to you. What this would lead to is different crossovers. They would do Crisis on Earth 2, and it was just team-ups. It was like the annual meeting between the JSA and the JLA. Well, as they bought more properties, they would have Crisis on Earth S, and that was the home of Shazam. They would have Crisis on Earth X. that was I forget what original comic book company he was with, but like Phantom Lady and Human Bomb, Doll Man, Black Condor, and Uncle Sam. What?
No, I'm just.
You're gonna tell me they
That
don't,
was Earth X.
They don't have a god character, but they have an Uncle Sam.
They have an Uncle Sam.
I don't know about you, Dustin. I'm taking Derek way more seriously with his beard.
Yeah. He does seem a little more studious.
He seems way more mature. Yeah, yeah.
I've done a lot of mature.
He's also like smoking a pipe.
Is that
and
even
I
full?
can't believe you're allowing it in your house.
Sherry Cavendish.
I can't. I'm under a spell right now.
Sherry Cavendish.
I do. My great grandfather smoked a cherry tobacco, so it's kind of he's whisking me away on multiple fronts.
Do you want a bit of honey?
I would love one.
Here you go, son.
Yes.
I don't want any part of that shit.
Don't pull out a filling. So all of this is going on, and you end up having all these different crossovers. All these weird other universes start showing up. You end up with Earth 3.
It's confusing to the reader.
It's insanely confusing. Like,
what am I supposed to think?
For a little bit, it's like, okay, we could keep up with this. You have the Marvel family Earth. You have Earth X that has like World War II still going on. You have Earth 3. Oh, that's a villainous Justice League. But then you get like Earth D, and then you get Earth.
Yeah, who's the audience for
where
this?
it's like it's a villainous Justice League because a bad version of Johnny Thunder took control of the other Johnny Thunder's Thunderbolt and wished for his criminal friends to have the superpowers of the Justice League. That I know all this lore.
That's ridiculous.
That sentence just confused the fuck out of me.
There is back in the day, there was some dork out there with a corkboard and yarn making sense of all this until it didn't make sense.
Yeah, the Charlie Day meme.
Yeah, it's very much a Charlie Day meme because
greatest meme,
wonderful meme. You're not far off because what ended up happening, how this. It became very clear that this was becoming a mess, and this needed to be cleaned up. Was I believe it was Marv Wolfman, who ended up being the architect.
There he is again of Infinite Other Earths.
In 1981, as the story goes, while he was the editor on Green Lantern, he receives a letter from a fan asking why a character did not recognize Hal in a recent issue, despite the two having worked together in an issue 3 years earlier.
Now, I can answer that.
Yeah. I'm sure we all can rationally. It's called Who Gives a Fuck, Just Write the Story.
We have
you're a dork and you remember this shit. And I say that as a dork.
A lot of people that come on the podcast and people that are only on one time that I don't know beforehand, there's like a very good chance I'm not going to recognize them out and about.
Very fair.
So they might be Jason-minded.
Yeah.
That could be the simple answer.
You meet a lot of cool, interesting people.
And sometimes they don't remember them later.
You got to think back then. No giant events had occurred, and nobody gave a fuck about continuity.
Yeah.
They didn't care. A good case in point, a part of why this happened was the whole idea of Wonder Girl. The whole idea of how Wonder Girl came about. Writers on Wonder Woman wanted to kind of do what they did on Superman. Like, well, let's tell earlier adventures just like they did with Superman. Instead of Superboy, let's do Wonder Girl. It's the young adventures of Wonder Woman. Well, then they end up launching a Teen Titans book, and they decide, well, let's put Wonder Girl on the team, not realizing it's supposed to be a younger version of Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
What is the secret of her power? Do we know, Wonder Girl?
The song never said.
Yeah, I'm trying to play it in my head right now. And I can't.
But I did know...
Rig-a-goo-goo?
It's a pasta dish. Hungarian in nature, I believe.
Give me some of that with some gabagoo.
I'll take a little paprikash right on top.
Hey, yeah. Delicious. So eventually she becomes her own character called Donna Troy, but it was still fucking confusing as shit.
Now that was a Star Trek character, right?
No, that was Admiral Troy.
Helena Troy.
Helena Deanna Troy?
Too many goddamn Troys.
We need to finally just nut up and combine the
November is over.
Oh,
we're midway through December.
Now we're in Dick Down December.
We're entering No Dog November, right? I told Shauna when she was here that you were clamoring for a fourth dog.
I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you. Oldest friend or not.
I said clamoring.
Yeah.
And she said, you fucking liar. And then she showed me how her son pisses.
Yep, that's a Shauna for you. That's my baby. But soon after this, Wolfman would pitch the early ideas for what would become Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like you said, what didn't help was the fact that Marvel had pulled ahead of DC regarding sales, mostly attributed to the fact that readers felt like their continuity was much more uniform and easily accessible.
Easy to understand.
Very easy to understand.
I'm a dope. Here's 15 cents. I want to read a thing and have it make sense and be fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about Wonder Boy being Wonder Boy's own father. Doesn't make sense.
Thinky pain. So these sentiments were shared by Wolfman at the time. He also agreed that Marvel was a much more unified system. So it was around this time that he and DC artist George Perez, who they were both two of the hottest names in comics at the time, with one of the best-selling books as well.
Hotter than Wolfman?
No, they were a team. They worked on the new Teen Titans.
Okay, thank you.
But even with like this popular of a book, DC was still getting its ass kicked, and Marv would go on to state that this all could be traced back to the Flash of Two Worlds. That's where things we went over the cliff.
There's the shattering of the God particle.
Exactly.
The fragment.
The shark.
What was that thing? The Hadron Collider?
The Hadron Collider.
We're living in a shattered reality right now.
It's fucked.
We're through the looking glass.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the multiverse idea came from, and the whole concept grew out of hand. It made it difficult for readers to have a simplified jumping on point. And it would be in the pages of Titans that Wolfman and Perez would lay the groundwork for Crisis with the introduction of a mysterious, potentially villainous new character, the Monitor, in the new Teen Titans number 21 of July of 82.
It was a lizard.
Giant lizard.
It was a big-ass lizard.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Yep.
Forked tongue.
You can find him in Florida.
Hell yeah.
Initially pitched by Wolfman as the history of the DC Universe, the titles changed to Crisis as those involved quickly realized how epic the series would be. And Marv was right. It began with a meeting with the higher-ups at DC, including Jeanette Kahn, Paul Levitz, Dick Giordano, and the entire DC editorial staff to flesh out and coordinate just how they'd go about basically restarting the DCU. In 1982, and this, what I'm about to describe sounds like a job that when you're a kid, this sounds awesome, but as an adult, sounds exhausting.
Candy taster.
DC hired a researcher to go through their vast library and read every comic they ever publish, which took 2 years. Again, when you're a kid, that sounds fun. When you're an adult, that sounds terrible.
A lot of yarn and corkboards.
Yeah. The project was first bumped to 83 due to not being ready, then again to 85, which would coincide with the company's 50th anniversary. Given the unprecedented nature of a project like Crisis, those involved met for 2 hours a week, an uncommon practice at the time. The whole idea was a big gamble and could potentially spell disaster for DC if it did not go off well. Once a clear-cut beginning and end for the maxi series was established, Wolfman would breathe easier, and the project moved ahead full steam. DC wanted to showcase as many of their characters in some way, and this led to a list of characters being created ahead of the series being written, and this was all a prospect that caught the attention of series artist George Perez, who was not initially intended to be the story's artist, but he was eager to take it on. He went ahead and took a break from Titans as he saw it as an opportunity to draw a rich cast of characters, some of which he'd likely never get a chance to draw on mainstream releases again. And he also saw it as a bit of a fuck you to Marvel, because around this time, you may know about this, it was around this time, prior to it, there was supposed to be a really cool Justice League Avengers team-up book or crossover book.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And there's art that exists for it. I remember when they finally showcased it and unearthed some of it in Wizard Magazine, Marvel got pissy about something and pulled the plug on it. And I think at this point, Perez was like 25 to 48 pages deep. He had done some really great spreads, fully inked and colored, and they pulled the plug on it. He was a little salty about that.
Yeah.
He kind of wanted to fling a little mud in their eye. The JLA Avengers crossover would not come to fruition until I was at Bradley.
Yeah.
So 2006, 2007, and Perez was the artist on that. So he was a little pissed. He was looking for revenge. Marketing for the series began as early as 1981, with the upcoming series first being mentioned in the December 81 issue of the Comics Journal. Giordano's Meanwhile column spoke to the project across titles in in June of '84, warning readers that odd occurrences would start appearing throughout titles and stories in the DCU, and the tagline, "Worlds will live, worlds will die, and nothing will ever be the same." And they were right. The series began in January of '85, coming to an end in December of that same year. Along the way... Sorry, my Siri was going off for some reason. Along the way, 15 issues of other titles would have direct tie-ins related to and connected to the story. There was a high death count in the series, but 2 stand out as the most notable and would have the longest-lasting effects in the DCU for years to come. Issue 7 would deliver a 1-2 punch of the deaths of Barry Allen, the Flash, and Kara Zor-El, Supergirl. In the case of Barry, it was seen as not only the death of the Silver Age, but also necessary as Barry's Flash had grown very stale, and DC editorial saw Barry as boring, and deep meaning change needed to happen.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
You get boring, and it's a death sentence.
How fast do I have to fucking run to be exciting?
No shit.
You think about it years later, because this is what would spawn the whole idea of maxi series and big events. The death of Superman... Superman became stale, and people found it boring. And like for years, when they would have Superman retreats to like, well, what are we going to write this year? Somebody would always throw out, let's just kill him. And finally, one year they're like, all right, fuck it, let's kill him. You think he's so boring, and let's take him away for a while. So sometimes that happens. In the case of Barry, it was a little bit longer than Superman, though.
That was a big event, though. That's like it's almost its own episode right there.
Yeah,
if the death and resurrection of Superman.
If covering a comic proves decent enough of a topic, it is something I'd like to tackle.
It was an event.
That was an insane event
that I do remember being a part of.
I would say that as far as like touchstone with the there's 2 other stories I would consider like this would be really fun to cover just because it was seminal. It didn't necessarily make the news, and that would be Batman Year 1 and Batman The Dark Knight Returns. But as far as 2 that actually made the news, like the evening fucking news, Death of Superman and Death of Robin.
Yeah, I remember both of those.
Death in the Family, like that. Both of those made fucking articles in newspapers and headlines on
Jason Todd?
Jason Todd, yeah.
Fucking shows up later anyway.
Yeah. Nobody stays dead.
Red Hood.
In the case of Supergirl, the idea of Superman being the last son of Krypton or the last Kryptonian had become wildly incorrect, as there were criminals that had left the Phantom Zone. The presence of Kryptonian animals such as Krypto the Superdog and Beepo the Super Monkey. Real character.
Yep.
Love to hate it.
But most of all, Kara. And it was time to clear the slate. The gamble ended up being a boon for DC, despite little to no marketing. Word caught on like wildfire, and Crisis became a best-selling book, bringing many back to DC or to the company for the first time.
Was Wildfire a Teen Titan?
Wildfire was a member of the Legion of Superheroes.
Okay, I thought that was probably clever wordplay, and I just wanted to point it out.
While there were some criticisms of the book, most all agree the scope of the story, the art, and the stakes were groundbreaking, as it was the first time a company had taken this big of a gamble and put out a story where everything was in danger, not just a singular character. The success of Crisis on Infinite Earths not only changed DC forever, but comics in general as well. Thoughts on Crisis, gentlemen, before we dive into how it affected the scope of comics in general?
I've never read this. I don't have plans to read it. I have been a part of events though in the past, comic book events.
Maximum Clonage.
I did read Maximum Clonage. I still have those, and I still have all the
Maximum Carnage.
And there's I don't think I have all those. I think I had a book.
Okay,
like the compendium book,
the trade.
I had
Nightfall.
All of Nightfall. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That was cool.
That was a big one.
And then I don't know why this happened, but like in 2005 or 2006, I got wind of like, oh, there's an event coming up, Civil War. You should. And I was like, well, that sounds interesting. So I did. I read all of Civil War, but that's been 20 years.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I read that run. When
okay, so you read Civil War. Any other events that you had picked up on and?
No. Like I said, I think I kind of got soured at an early age, but I did buy a lot of Maximum Carnage because I was really into the Spider-Man series at that time, and I think that was actually the first book I ever bought at Acme Comics, our local long-running comic shop. But I had pull lists of certain titles, but when they would go into an event, I would just stick with my titles only, and just read those and figure out what's going on enough. And if it's like I got too confused, maybe I would buy the title book for the event. That's it.
No other offshoots or anything.
Just, like there's just I read too many other titles. I didn't have it in the budget, or I didn't care enough.
Yeah, I wasn't really a comic book kid when I was young, but I took a trip out to Long Island when I was like 12 or something, 11 or 12. And I remember being at like just a local mom and pop drugstore way out in Long Island. I was with my grandparents. They took me and my sister on a vacation, and I was just in this drugstore, and I saw, like, I could still see the cover. It's like Batman Nightfall 10 or something, and he's like drowning with like rats around him. And I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I like drawing. I like Batman. Let me check this out. And then I got that, and then it was like, oh, now I have to have the rest of them.
Yep.
And he just dug right in.
Yeah, that one I didn't get as it was released. That was a trade purchase down the road. So some of those events I've gone back to and revisited, but this is too far back. I don't go back this far. I only knew this as, this is where the Flash dies, and I had seen some of those art, frames and comic panels. That was really all I kind of knew, and just it was this huge mega event that kind of kicked off all these other future ones, like that. I just knew that's where it kind of all started, and the comic world shifted big time at a commercial rate.
This is it instigated like a reboot, didn't it, for DC?
Well, yeah, it reset their entire universe. Like the timeline was completely different after this. So you had things were unified. They would end up having to have somewhat of a sequel to that. And that segues into the legacy and the lasting effects of what Crisis did. So it would kick off the idea of the mega event, like you said, and that followed in droves from DC as well as Marvel. Speaking to just DC, the event itself would spawn several sequels, believe it or not, some of which that are kind of even playing out now. It would popularize the idea of the mega event, and it would lead to the idea of the summer crossover. That's typically when we saw a lot of crossovers in books. If it was like a 4 to 6 issue run or whatever.
Now, I assume that was done purposefully because kids are outside buying comics less in the summer, give them more of an incentive to buy something if it was a big deal.
You're like, oh, wow.
Well, crossover?
Yeah.
It's June 4th. Better go out and get it.
Christenings on Infinite Earths.
Sold. I gotta be there.
Dumb kids love them too.
But this led to crossovers such as Invasion that ran from 88 to 89.
Invasion USA.
What?
Different Invasion.
Different Invasion.
The 80s was rife with invasions, Jay.
Cold War, man.
Armageddon 2001. Which
we
was
survived.
We
did it, guys.
We did make it.
Its first direct sequel, 0 Hour Crisis in Time, was in 94, which was designed to address any lingering continuity errors left unanswered or caused by Crisis.
A scant 10 years later?
Barely.
It's like a Tron movie.
Yeah. 20 years later, another massive reboot that would again change Earth 1 or Earth Prime's history, while also reestablishing the concept of a multiverse, would take place with what would be considered part 2 of DC's Crisis trilogy in the 7-part Infinite Crisis in 2005. That was a direct sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths. And then this would be followed by Final Crisis in 2008.
They say it's the final one.
They come out with Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well,
I'm no sucker.
Crisis averted.
Wrong. Over the years, revisits of the event would happen in other books and be considered part of the history. The aforementioned DC Universe, Legends of DC Universe, Crisis on Infinite Earths #1 in '98. Part 5 of the 12 part. Jesus
Pretty
Christ.
funny joke.
Pretty funny. 12-issue limited run of JLA Incarnations in 2001. Crisis and the Anti-Monitor would see mentions and even revisits within the last 10 years, with 2015's Convergent storyline heavily referencing the storyline and even sees the characters revisiting the world of Crisis on Infinite Earths. The concept would again be revisited in 2022, this time as an inverted reflection of itself in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. As far as effects felt at the time, Wolfman and Perez would team up to release the history of the DC Universe after the series ended, which outlives more like a guidebook, if you will, to the new history of DC. Many
DC for Dummies.
DC for Dummies, more or less, yeah. DC titles saw hard reboots, such as Superman in John Byrne's storied limited series The Man of Steel. Perez would reboot Wonder Woman with an iconic retelling of her origin. Batman's titles and history remained relatively unchanged, but he did receive an iconic updated origin in 1986's Batman Year One by Frank Miller.
And nipples.
No.
Dinner
That was
plate
Schumacher.
nipples.
That was many years later.
Big milk muscles.
One of the biggest impacts was The Flash, which saw a brand new series starting with Volume 2 and Wally West stepping into the role. This began an incredible run which featured iconic work from Mark Waid and Jeff Johns, both of whom would go on to reshape DC in the 2000s up to now in the 2020s. Barry would eventually return to the role of the Flash in Flash Rebirth, and Kara would even return as a mainstay character in Superman Batman #8 in 2004. She features heavily. She has her own title. She's in the new Superman movie. She's about to have her own movie. Barry and Kara both would even receive their own related shows on the CW as part of their Arrowverse.
That is quite an impressive thing they did.
Oh, yeah.
The Arrowverse.
Yeah.
It was like 5 or 6 shows. A lot of them lasted 5, 6, 7.
For a hot minute.
I watched The Flash for like the first 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. The last couple seasons, even by Grant Gustin's admission, were not great.
Tom Cavanaugh's in that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because wasn't he the Flash in the 90s? Or no.
That was
John Wesley Shipp.
That's right. Him.
Yeah, he shows up.
The dad on Dawson's Creek.
Yes.
He was cast as Henry Allen, his dad, and then eventually turns out his double on Earth 2 is Jay Garrick, the Flash. And then he even reprised his role as the 1990s Flash, canonizing that as part of their universe.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Which they did that in every year they would do a crossover. And as the shows grew, the crossovers became bigger and bigger, and this culminated in their own Crisis on Infinite Earths.
I don't know how good any of those are, but the fact that
they're not bad.
They were able to make all those series and all those seasons and all those crossovers. That's a big deal. That's a big accomplishment.
I think I watched season 1 of Arrow. Is Supergirl in that, or is that a different one? Okay, my daughter Drew and I watched Supergirl. She really liked it. So I think that only lasted 2 seasons?
2 or 3.
I don't know. Again, I bailed.
The shortest of them was
point.
Batwoman. That had troubled
I was going to say that's what I was going to bring up, because what was that lady that's in it?
Ruby Rose was
Rose.
season 1 as Kathy Kane.
And then she's in the news. She was shit talking Sydney Sweeney, saying that her new boxing movie Christie tanked at the box office, and it's all Sydney Sweeney's fault. And apparently, Ruby Rose was considered for the role, and I think as a fellow queer woman, she identified with this lady in this role and really, really wanted it. And then here comes Miss Pretty Thing Hollywood, and then it comes out and no one goes to see it, and she's like, Christy deserved better.
I saw like one preview.
I was going to say, I didn't hear anything about it, and I mean, it depends how much money's behind this thing, but you're going to want the bigger star, probably. That's Sydney Sweeney by far.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody would have gone and seen it with, Ruby
I'm sure she would have been
Rose
good.
in it.
She didn't want to be on the show or something. The Batwoman show, and she was killed off, right?
I don't know if she was killed off. I didn't care for Batwoman as much. Some of I thought the writing was weak. I mean, you had some good performances by some people on there, but this was also getting to a point where I trying to keep up with the CW shows felt like a job.
Yeah, that's how I felt about wrestling.
And that's
for a while.
like that's kind of my problem with Marvel. And it's like this should be fun.
It's too much. Yeah,
it's way too much. And you got to think at that point they had Arrow. Arrow was still going, if I'm not mistaken.
These are probably 13 episode seasons they're doing.
13 to 26.
To 26,
depending. But you bad 2021.
Criminy still.
But you had Arrow. I'm pretty certain was still going. You had The Flash. You had Supergirl. You had Legends of Tomorrow. You had, I think, then you had Batwoman. Around the time of Crisis, I think Arrow lasted a little bit. Like, I think another season or finished out a season after that. But they were looking to try to spin it off into a future-based series called Green Arrow and the Black Canaries. There was Superman and Lois. At this point, Black Lightning, as I'll say here, Black Lightning.
I just call him Lightning.
Gotten folded. You don't see color, famously. You had anywhere between
Lightning.
Yeah.
6 and 8 shows.
It's crazy,
and it's like hard to keep up with all of it, man. And I got burnt out on it, and I ended up saying I'm taking a break from all this shit. I'll catch them in reruns or whatever. I never went back to them, but then like. Ruby Rose left it. I can't remember
and your
all
life's
the reasons
been
why.
fine without it.
Yeah. But no, like I was working up to, Crisis had cross-media representation. It would be adapted into the CW's annual crossover event, and it would also result in new Earth history. So the Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Black Lightning, and Superman Lois, it would all be one continuity. In this crossover, they even made references to, they show a world, God damn it, who's the guy in Arliss? And he plays Knox. Robert Vaughn.
Yeah.
No.
Wool.
Robert Wool. Yeah.
Robert Wool is in like an opening scene for this crossover. It's the Batman 89 universe.
Yeah.
Batman 66 universe is there. Burt Ward is
Robin.
in it.
He's still around?
I think he's still alive. He may have recently passed. I'm not sure.
I can't recall.
But he was in it? He was in an episode?
Yeah.
Unreal.
It's supposed to be the Batman 66 universe. He's an older man. The Birds of Prey universe, if you remember when they tried that show.
I think I still have it on DVD.
There was even a pre-controversy appearance by Ezra Miller's Flash from the Snyderverse. And the series would also see Brandon Routh, who at this time was playing Ray Palmer, the Atom. He would pull double duty, being a Kingdom Come pattern version of his Superman.
He only did the one, right? He was Superman Returns.
Yeah. Superman Returns. That was it. That did not perform well. They scrapped any plans for a sequel. And we'd even get a revisit of the Smallville universe. With
I wish
Tom
they would have
Welling.
kept around Brandon Routh's. I can't remember who played him, but the Lex Luthor, whoever played that guy. I wish they would have kept him around for a while.
Kevin Spacey? Yeah, what happened to him? I'll look it up later.
What? Oh shit! Oh, what's a Smallville? Is that fit into the fold?
Yeah, no, they do a revisit of that universe.
Oh, okay.
And like Tom Welling came back for it. Erica Durance did.
That's another show that was quietly on for a decade.
I think I watched the first 4 seasons of that.
Yeah.
Unreal.
It was around the same time as Buffy, which, I was watching Buffy and Angel.
Yeah.
And it was just, that was kind of a whole block of programming that I was in for.
Did they bring the Allison Mack character? A lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
This world's
a lot of problems
got
on
a lot of
CW. A lot of fucking problems. 2024 would see the series getting the animated treatment in the 3-part film series Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths, part of DC's very successful DC animated universe. 2023 would give us Scooby-Doo and Crypto 2, which makes references to the world of Crisis as well. Aside from trade paperbacks being collected of this, there is merchandise as well. Specifically, DC Direct, now known as DC Collectibles, released 3 series of figures related to the story between 2005 and 2006.
How many do you own?
3.
That's low. I expected
3 more than me.
I didn't want all the figures with it, and I some of them I already had, but like I have the Earth 2 Huntress, great great looking character. The Earth 2 Robin, and I have Supergirl.
Okay.
From that. For better or worse, Crisis made a lasting impact on storytelling, resulting in the history of DC being split into pre-Crisis and post-Crisis. Those are terms that are still used to this day.
I'm in Crisis.
You're currently in Crisis?
Well, we're still talking about it, so we're not
as far as
pre or post.
not you personally are having some sort of meltdown? Or
No,
are you
no.
okay?
I'm just trying to think of like where we are in this process. We would still be considered in crisis.
Of recording the show?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay. I would agree with that. I thought you were revealing something big to the rest of the... Yeah, okay. No, yeah, we are mid-crisis.
Okay.
Right?
Yes,
All right.
yes. Despite being a story meant to erase the idea of a multiverse, the concept became such a draw that sequels would reestablish the idea, so much so that the idea of a multiverse is mainstream now and has gone on to influence even Marvel's model of storytelling in their comics, as well as cinematically.
If you're having a crisis, I hope you know you're amongst friends and you can tell us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate
We'll be
it.
there for you. I mean, I know we're talking about a crisis event that happened in the DC universe, but, you know, to me, Dustin's universe is way more important to me.
much more important.
That's very sweet.
It's much more important.
Very sweet of you.
I can't collect you in a trade paperback.
I've heard of the CW, but I'm more interested in the DW.
Oh,
And,
slam dunk that.
And I think we need to make sure that there's not a crisis happening in the DW universe.
Only crisis is I'm out of
You
Fresco.
held out pretty. You did pretty good there, bud.
I'm having a good time.
I'm having a good time. Needless to say, what started out as a gamble in the 80s has affected storytelling and the movie-going experience. 40 years removed, the story still has a deep effect on the characters, the medium, the related media. Who's to say what's in store in the next 40 years?
George Perez.
George Perez. As long as he's alive
Jr.
and keeps on drawing.
Is Wolfman still alive?
Yeah.
Yes.
We wish his nards luck.
I think he is.
Okay, John Grease on the phone.
Asking about his nards. This is usually the part where, we speak the final thoughts, but
Yeah.
I think we kind of touched on all that. I mean, it did give us, for better or worse, it gave us crossover events and maxi series. Some of them good, some of them shitty.
It sounds like it gave DC a lot more head of steam.
Gave him a good shot in the
Gave
arm.
him a good
focus.
focus.
Starting over point.
And a good way to unify their front and then kind of move forward from
and then,
there.
they'll
kinda-
do the
it
new
brought it back.
52.
Yeah, then we'll do the new 52. Then we'll do this. Then we'll do
Yeah.
that. That is kind of the downside of this, and I would say DC's worse at it than Marvel, but constant reboots.
Yeah.
DC is notorious for it and has been. It's been really bad, I would say, the last 15 to 20 years. But even Marvel has done it.
It's like we don't want to deal with all of the canon. We can't keep up with it. These characters have existed for decades.
You got some coming up on a century.
Yeah.
You got to think Batman and Superman are 13 to 15 years away from being a century old.
And we know most readers don't think about all this stuff, but we know there are some that will. And
Clearly.
we want to show them
How come Green Lantern, he
respect.
worked with this person 3 years ago, but no now?
Well, let's talk about that for a second. In 15 years, Batman, Superman become public domain.
Yeah, what's that look like?
What does that
Do we
look
have
like?
Batman Blood and Honey?
I mean, recently we've had things like Sherlock Holmes, Winnie the Pooh, and not Mickey Mouse, but Steamboat Willie become public domain. And then we've seen...
Bambi has as well.
What's that?
I think Bambi has as well.
I think you're right. And we've seen kind of low-budget, shitty versions of these things pop up in cinema and stuff. Is there a point where just anyone can make a Batman movie?
I think there's going to be something to that effect. And I think that's part of why DC reboots the way they do. I mean, this clearly they needed to. Their history was a mess and their sales were down. But I think part of the reason why they will reboot or make a new character, like for a while, Dick Grayson was Batman for a bit. The Nightfall, that was Jean-Paul Valley.
Ezekiel wasn't, or was it?
He became Azazel.
That's what it was. Yeah, Azrael.
Yeah, Azrael. He became Azrael.
Gargamel's cat.
Yes, he became Gargamel's cat.
Exactly.
Remember when Batman became
Gargamel's cat. I wonder if they do some of these reboots in order to have some sort of control over copyright. Like, eventually some version of Bruce Wayne and Batman's going to fall in the public domain.
Right.
But this version won't be. I don't know, man. Copyright's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird.
Yeah, Batman might become public domain, but maybe not the Joker right away. Yeah. Maybe Robin not for another 20 years. Who knows? Who knows what that looks like?
Yeah.
As those characters leak out. Interesting to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But
very much indeed.
Sounds like a cool event that we're still feeling the ramifications of today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For better
well,
or worse.
case in point, how things are going in the MCU. That is all multiverse based right now. So, and it draws back to this. So, unless there is anything else to say about Crisis on Infinite Earths, we are going to go ahead and kick to commercial, and we'll be right back after this.
Now you can throw Mama in the VCR. Because America's favorite Mama is coming home. In one of the year's funniest hits. Throw Mama from the train.
One little murder and I'm Jack the Ripper.
Danny DeVito.
Owen loves his mama.
Owen loves his mama.
Billy Crystal.
She's not a woman. She's the Terminator.
Throw Mama from the train. Available May 26th on video cassette from Orion Home Video.
Over the center ring, the perilous platform plunge. Are you ready, Harvey?
As soon as I eat my bitter honey candy bar.
Bitter honey. 6 pieces of chew, long-lasting candy with nuts and just a bit of honey. Delicious flavor that lasts as long as you chew. And chew, and chew, and chew, and chew. Bitter honey. If you're in a hurry, forget it.
What do you say about the taste of sugar-free Fresca?
Wow!
Wow!
Wow! Wow! Wow!
The surprising taste of sugar-free Fresca. Wow!
Truly a monumental event worthy of an episode here toward the end of 2025, 40 years after its conclusion. But much like DC's continuity, we too must press on. And that will bring us to next week's episode, releasing just days before Christmas. And what better way to celebrate than revisiting a staple of the holiday viewing season? And that's going to be National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Tune in. We do hope to have a returning champ for this one.
Okay.
In the meantime, every Friday, head on over to the Drunken Lullabies feed.
Do it.
You're going to check out Radio Rewind. That's going to be with Dustin, Jason, and our friend Tyler. In addition to that, you can engage with the show much in the same fashion that Nostalgia Nate, Seth Kane, and Boo Cyrus do, as well as our Boppo on X or Blue Sky. You can find us over on Instagram and Facebook and YouTubes and what have you. It's the end of the show, and we, of course, want to thank our producers, and that's going to be Mo, Patron Mike, Nostalgia Nate, Mike Afonso, and Allison Troy. If you yourself are in the position to help our humble show grow, won't you please consider becoming a patron today at patreon.com/Yesterdaze podcast. That is going to wrap it up for Yesterdaze this week, this fucking night. But come back next Monday, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.